Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel Destiny Moon Tarot, and welcome to today's pick a card reading in which I am only going to be using my runes. I have a deck here of my runes cards. It was also how I learned about runes, and yeah, so I'm just going to be using this deck right here in today's reading to find out what you might experience for the rest of the year. What might be happening for the rest of the year? What might you be experiencing for the rest of the year? You can pick your group today based on the pictures in the thumbnail of this reading. Once you have made your decision, you can find the timestamps to your group's reading in the description box below as well as in the pinned comments. And I shall see you all in your reading. Hi, Group 1. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out what you might experience for the rest of the year. What does the rest of the year have in store for you? Okay, so first up, we have Fehu, we have Uruz, and we have Theresa. I also want to take Othola out for you just because it was a card that was kind of popping out. So we're gonna take all four cards. Okay, your bottom deck energy is Kenaz. All right. Okay. Um, a lot to unpack here, so let's just do what we do best and make a aesthetically pleasing setup first. I'm back, your crystals are ready here, and I think this setup looks really pretty, if I can say so myself. Okay, let's begin with your reading. Now, first up with Fehu, what I can see is that during the rest of the year, you are going to be experiencing some sort of luxury, some sort of success, some sort of ease in your life. Okay, now what I can see with this card is that either you're going on a luxury vacation or you're going on a vacation that has been on your bucket list for a very long time. Maybe you're buying something that you've had on your wish list for a very long time, or you're treating yourself or somebody is treating you to something really nice. Okay, and this is something materialistic is what I'm picking up on with this Fehu card right here. I do believe that this is the equivalent of the Emperor and the Empress card in the tarot. So I do feel like with Fehu being right here, you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you're being very well taken care of, whether it is by yourself or by someone else. I think you are really enjoying the good things in life is what I can see with this Fehu card here. With Uruz, what I can see is that there is some sort of strength in your life that you are using for good. Okay, so I think this, especially being next to Theresa's, I do believe you are probably standing up for or protecting or being a voice for someone who cannot do so for themselves. So like armchair activism or actual activism, I think there's some sort of charity work that you're doing. You're helping out in an old age home, maybe some volunteer work that you're doing. Even if this is armchair activism, I think you're speaking up for people who cannot speak up for themselves. Is also something that I'm picking up on. So it kind of feels like you get to enjoy a really good life with privileges, with luxury, even for the rest of the year. And you see how grateful and thankful you are for it. You're very appreciative of it. So you use that strength and that privilege and that power for good. You use it for something that benefits not just you but also someone else, is what I'm seeing. I think you are sharing your privilege or extending your privilege to people who don't have the same things that you do. So this could be like just with the festive season being around the corner, maybe you're saying, what, instead of supporting big production houses, let me buy something from like a local brand, or like a like a startup or like a small business, and invest in that instead, or like instead of buying things from like a big shop, you're going to like local vendors is something that I'm picking up on. You're going vocal for local, is what I'm hearing. There's also a siren right outside my window. I don't know if you can hear it, it's quite loud. So yeah, I do feel like there is some sort of like an emergency or like an immediate threat in the environment that you live in, which doesn't affect you because of the privilege that you have, because of the strength and the power that you have, but you do see that as a problem. So you are lending a helping hand in combating that issue, is what I can see. Now, it doesn't have to be something very serious like air pollution in this case, but it could be something small, like I was saying, supporting local businesses and small businesses instead of buying things from big brands that, like big corporate houses, who probably don't pay fair wages to their workers or their employees, and probably don't even pay fair wages to uh, procure the raw materials, maybe even. Yeah. So yeah, that is something that I see you doing for the rest of the year. I also see you kind of taking care of your own health, of your own well-being. You're in this mentality of better safe than sorry. So like how during the festive season our diets kind of go all over the place because there's so many like sweets or like unhealthy food that's coming into the house. But I see you being more disciplined when it comes to your workouts, being able to say no, saying, I've had enough of sweets for today, no more. So you're being safe rather than being sorry, is what I am seeing here. So I do feel like you're also paying attention on the way that you look, on the way that you feel within your body. Like maybe you're beginning to work out, or maybe you're beginning to um like take care of your body in a much better way, just so you can protect yourself from harm, like being prepared, being safe rather than sorry. Yeah, I already said that. I do feel like for some of you, I think one of your goals this year was to maybe join the gym or move your body more or like exercise more, and maybe you started off well at the beginning of the year, but then somewhere through the way you kind of stopped, or maybe you didn't take it as seriously. But now you're like, what, I still have a couple of months before the year gets over, so let me at least start now, is what I'm seeing here. With Othala, I also feel like you will be spending a lot of time with your family, or maybe you're going back to your home. So maybe you live somewhere, and you live somewhere and your family lives somewhere else, so you're traveling to meet them, you're traveling to spend time with them. I think you're meeting like nieces and nephews who you get to spend the festive season with for the first time in your life or in their life. I also see you getting like more interested in your lineage, in your traditions, in your culture, in your customs. And like a beautiful thing that I can see in this energy is that you are embracing tradition, but you're also making it modern. Okay. So a couple of like weeks ago, I saw this reel. I don't follow that influencer, but I think that reel of hers went viral, which is why she showed up on my For You page. And she was saying that, people often ask her, how can you be a feminist and religious? Because if you look at religion, a lot of religion aren't very good to women. I mean, most religions aren't very good to women, right? So she was like, no, but I am a feminist and I believe in God and I follow religion, but then I do it with a sense of modernity. If there is a ritual that is patriarchal, I say I'm not going to do it. Or you don't have to shun the complete culture or the tradition. You just have to tweak them to make them more adaptable and like make them grow with time. It's like it's like modernity and tradition going hand in hand, where like the only way tradition gets to live or move forward is if it is working in tandem with um, modernity, with liberalization, with open mindedness, with equality, with um, logic, with reason as well. Okay. So yeah, that is something that I'm seeing here. Say for example, um, there's a tradition in your family that only men do and the women don't. You're saying why? Like, who made that rule? Like, what happens if there are no men in the family? You're like, what do you mean? Are like the women not good enough for this? So like, you're gonna say no. Anyone who wants to do that ritual, like if that ritual needs to be done by like an elder male member of the family, you'll be like, why? There is no elder male member in the family. Why can't the elder female in the family take over and do this ritual, right? So that is something that I'm seeing. Or like, an example, like a personal example, is I'm left-handed, and in my culture it's seen as a bad thing to be left-handed. I just consider myself quite lucky and blessed to be born in a family that didn't force me to start using my right hand, because I know that a lot of people were born left-handed but then they were forced to start using their right hand, and that I think is just horrible. So maybe that's something you are doing. You're going home and maybe you're seeing that your niece is left-handed, and you see like the elders of the family kind of um like nagging her and saying, hey, no, not with your left hand, do it with your right hand. And you're like, you know what? Her left hand is her right hand. If the God that you're praying to didn't want left handed people in the world, he wouldn't have made left handed people in the world. So, let this person be. And I think that is something that you are doing, which also ties into maybe speaking up, what I was saying before, right? Like speaking up for someone who probably doesn't understand or doesn't have the power to say anything, or maybe if they do say something they'll not be heard. Um, that is what I'm seeing, and I think that in itself is creating some sort of like a good environment in your family or in your home. Okay, so yes, maybe there might be conflicts because of this, but I do feel like most of the elders will be on board and will understand logic and be practical and like do the right thing. But even some of them, if they're even reluctantly saying okay to this, I think it doesn't matter to you, because you will feel like you're being a good family elder to someone who's younger than you, right? Because say you have a niece or a nephew who's like 6 years old and you're 26 years old, that makes you a family elder too, right? So yeah, I think just like being able to follow tradition, but like saying it's okay if we can make some changes and tweak it up a little bit, it's fine. The tradition will still hold value and it will still work. If we just let it adapt to like modernity and like the change in times. So yeah, I do feel like that is what you're experiencing for the rest of the year. For some of you, I also believe that, yeah, you are getting really interested in your own culture, in your own lineage. Maybe you're like digging up about family, like your family history. You're trying to find out if you have any cousins that you don't know of, or any aunts and uncles that you don't know of yet. Yeah. So that is also something that I'm seeing here for you for the rest of the year. Group number one. Something else that I'm also picking up for you guys, group number one, is that some of you might be inheriting something before the year ends. I think like a family elder is giving you like a family heirloom or something that's been in the family for a very long time. Some item is what you are inheriting. Maybe you're hearing stories about the ancestor who first got this thing and how they got it and how they've passed it on. Or For some of you, I also feel like there is a family elder that you were close to who probably passed away this year. And I'm so sorry for your loss, group number one. But I do feel like, when you go back home this time, something that was very close to them or something that reminds you of them is something that you will be inheriting or you will get to take home with you. That's also something that I'm picking up. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel for more readings from me, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out what the rest of the year has in store for you, what you might experience for the rest of the year. So, first up, we have right through. Okay. Next up, we have Airwas. All right. We have Manas. All right. And I need just one more card. We have Northies. I'm not sure how to pronounce this word. I think it's Northies. Okay. Let's get all of your cards in the frame. Okay. Hopefully, by the time you see my next video, I will have a better setup for you guys. I do have to make a couple of changes. So, yeah, I think I'm going to make more space. Yeah, right now we're just limited to 4 cards on the table, but hopefully there'll be more space for more cards. But yeah, let's get into your reading without further ado. Okay, so first up with right through, what I can see is that you are going on a journey. Now, I feel like this journey could be a physical journey, of course, like you're going on a vacation where you're going to be taking a lot of pictures. It's going to be one of those like aesthetic places that you get to go to where you'll be like taking a lot of pictures. You'll get to wear really cute outfits. So you've probably packed your bags and stuff, yeah, and you've bought like a special camera, and you've cleaned up the storage space on your phone. There's enough space on your Google Drive to back up your photos. That kind of a trip is what I can see. You're probably going somewhere far, somewhere new, somewhere, like I said, aesthetically pleasing. You might be going to some place tropical where it's kind of hot, or maybe hotter than the weather currently wherever you are living, is what I can see. Or maybe this is just like a tropical place, is what I can see. Or for some of you, this is a internal journey that you are going on, a spiritual journey that you are going on, and you are being asked to enjoy the ride. Okay, there'll be a lot for you to learn on the spiritual journey. You'll be finding out a lot of truths. You'll be learning things that will stay with you for life. You will be learning things that will become a part of your legacy. You will be learning things that you will probably be passing on to like a younger generation, to your kids, to your grandkids. Maybe you'll be teaching these things to other people, that this is what you have learned on your journey, and you'll maybe document that. Okay, so like maybe you're going on a journey, and you're documenting it in some way, in the sense that maybe you're journaling about it, or maybe you are taking pictures, or maybe like the lessons that you are learning, you're going to write a book about them. That is the kind of thing that I'm seeing. Or maybe you'll make a YouTube video about the things that you have learned. So yeah, that is also something that I'm picking up on, because something that I am currently seeing a rise in, especially on YouTube and like just the internet in general, is people sitting down and sharing their own views and opinions in the form of a video, which I am all here for. Like I love like listening to other people's theories. I love hearing people's like stories. So yeah, I'm just really glad that people get to share their observations and their lessons and their experiences on the internet, and it is so easily accessible because now you don't even have to meet someone who's been through something in order to know what their perspective is, or know what that's like. You just need to put that on Google or on YouTube and you will get information, right? So you'll get to hear stories from people and places who you, without the internet, could have probably never met, or you would have never been introduced to. So yeah, that is something that I'm seeing. So but I see you being behind the camera, though. I don't see you as a consumer, I see you as the person that's making that kind of content. Okay, so take it how it resonates. You're either going on a journey which is external, on a trip, or you're going on an internal journey. For some of you, this could also mean that you're going on a physical journey, like a vacation that is teaching you a lot about life. Okay, because whatever it is that you're learning in this journey, whether it is a physical journey or a spiritual journey or an emotional journey or even a mental journey, whatever you're learning here, it is changing your perspective of yourself. It's like you're kind of having like a spiritual awakening, you're having like an ego death, you're maybe reinventing yourself, you're having some sort of glow up, you're feeling like you're a different person altogether. It's like, you know how that song goes, Reflection, from Mulan, the Disney movie? That's what I'm hearing. It's like you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying, who is this person? Like, I don't recognize this person anymore because we've come so far, we've changed so much, we've grown so much. So, there's some sort of like feeling within you that makes you feel older or wiser, or feel like you're no longer the person that you once were. Or some of you are having a physical glow up, or like a physical change in your body because of the things that you have learned, because of the journey that you have been on. Okay, and this, I think, change within yourself, this like self reflection, this ego death that you're having, the spiritual awakening that you're having, is helping you kind of understand that yes, you are the main character in your own life, but you also play a very important part in like the collective consciousness. It's like, when you go to a concert and you see that there's so many people here, and each one of them is the main character in their own life, including you. But at the same time, we're all part of like the conscious collective, right? Collective conscious, sorry. So like we're all connected to each other, and like we all play a role here on earth, we all have a purpose here on earth. So I feel like that is something that you're learning in your understanding. Now this could also mean that you are going on a physical journey, and because of that you're making a very drastic change in your physical self, and that is bringing you maybe attention that you never got before, or maybe it's like now showing you your place in society, because you feel like you are both super important and at the same time super insignificant, because you're just another person in the crowd, but at the same time you are the main character of your own life. And I feel like that learning, that teaching, is also bringing you like-minded people, okay, into your life. This is bringing you a sense of community, a sense of needing people and belonging to a place. Okay, so maybe up until now you've been hyper independent, and you were like, I don't need anyone. But now you're seeing how not needing anyone is just as bad as codepending on someone, right? We all need to be our own people and do our own thing, but at the same time also depend on other people. Because, if we want to have a village of people supporting us, we also have to be a villager in someone else's life, is what we're realizing. Okay, for some of you, what I'm also seeing, I think the messages are getting very heavy, but Something that I'm also seeing is that you guys are going on a trip, and it's an important trip. So you're going through a glow up. Maybe you're cutting your hair or coloring your hair. Maybe you're buying a new lipstick, new makeup, new jewelry, new clothes, something of that sort. And that is making you feel very good about yourself, and that kind of makes you want to be seen by the world and be seen by other people. You're no longer hiding away in your shell. You're showing yourself to the world, and you're having a good time, and you're enjoying yourself. You don't care what other people are going to say about you. You're feeling yourself. You're feeling really good and confident and sexy and happy in your body, in your self, and that's all that matters to you. For some of you, what I'm also seeing is that this trip that you're going on is one that you're going on with friends, or with like-minded people, or with forever people, people who are meant to be in your life forever. And you could be doing something that you've never done before, or you could be doing things that you genuinely enjoy doing. This is going to be a very eventful and significant trip in your life. Okay, you're going to be having a lot of fun. You'll probably go to your first concert, or you'll see like your favorite artist, or you're finally going to see that show that you have always wanted to live. That is the sort of like energy that I'm picking up on here. With North, who's here, which I feel like I've been ignoring for a while, I do feel like this trip might have some ups and downs, just like how any trip has its ups and downs. But I feel like you are just going with the flow. You're saying, hey, we're doing the best that we can. Let's give ourselves grace and let's have hope. Okay, so whether this is a physical trip, because sometimes on trips you'll meet like a bad Uber driver, or maybe somebody's luggage is gonna get stolen. So you like ups and downs in on trips is something that's very common. But I think through it all, you're just keeping your calm, you're keeping your cool, you're not losing your cool, you're not letting your emotions get the better of you. I think you're just going with the flow and you're having hope. Okay, if this is a physical trip. If this is a physical trip, I also feel like maybe you're realizing that the place that you are going to has a lot of things. It has, there's maybe like a disparity in the socioeconomic status of how people live. Maybe you get to see the super rich, but you also get to see the super poor. And that is something that is making you think, is making you feel, is making you, maybe like I said, voice your opinion, and have some sort of like transformation, have some sort of like an ego death, where you're like, what does all of this mean? This is just a chance of luck that I'm born into this life. There are people with less privilege than me, right? So that is something that you could be realizing. Or maybe if this is a spiritual journey, you are learning a lot while you are enjoying the trip. It honestly feels like you are focused more on the journey than you are on the destination, and you are open and receptive to learning things on the way, experiencing things on the way, while still having hope and faith that everything is going to be okay in the end. You're not losing faith. You're not um, you're not going to stop trusting the world or the universe or your own beliefs. It's just like, yes, maybe your beliefs get shaken up, but they're very strong beliefs, right? So they will stand the test of time, is what I am seeing here. So it honestly feels like you're going on a journey, um, and that's what you're going to be experiencing for the rest of the year, group number two. But this is a journey that you are going to enjoy, but it's also going to teach you a lot. Okay, so it's like enjoyment learning, enjoyment learning, so it's like the ebbs and flows of life are something that you are fully surrendering yourself to on this journey, is what I can see. And you just surrendering is helping you learn a lot in life and be a better person and be your current best self, because we can always improve and be better than our best self right now. So yeah, that is something that I'm picking up on. An additional message that I'm getting for maybe some of you who really need to hear this is that this journey is teaching you how to be vulnerable, and how it is okay for you to be vulnerable. You don't have to be scared to show your emotions or to express your opinions. You can be yourself, you can let people in, you can open up that shell and actually let the world see the real you, or at least let a select few people see the real you, and you will be okay. Okay, so maybe there is some sort of fear of being vulnerable that you've had, and I think that is something that you're overcoming, that fear. um, and maybe also that limiting obstacle of not being able to open up or be vulnerable with people. Okay, so like an example of this that I'm getting is that maybe this group of people that you're traveling with, you've known for a very long time, but on this group you're going to open up to them emotionally, and they'll be like, group number two, we've known each other for 10 years and I did not know this about you. Why didn't you say something before? Why didn't you tell us? You should have told us. We would have supported you more. We would have been better at showing you, the love and the support that we have for you in our hearts, the respect that we have for you in our hearts. And now that we see you, we fully accept you for who you are and appreciate you for who you are. It has just started raining, and that's just beautiful. So yeah, I do feel like, maybe you'll be shedding tears, but they will be tears of like holding your emotions in too deep and finally letting go. It's like a relief. Those tears stem from a place of like relief of finally being able to let go and, you know be yourself, because you're tired of holding in something because of fear. Yeah, that is also something that I'm picking up on. It's like renewed, refreshed energy, is what I can see happening for the rest of the year, is what I can see you experiencing in the rest of the year. And I think that is going to be your key takeaway, just feeling refreshed and renewed and rejuvenated. It's like you're born again. Yeah. So that is the reading that I have for you guys. Group number two went on longer than I had anticipated and expected, but it's okay. I hope you got the messages that you really needed to hear right now. And I hope this has given you some sort of clarity, some sort of answers, and also some sort of hope. So, yeah, with that being said, let me end your reading. Subscribe to my channel for more readings from me. Claim this reading in the comments below, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys. Hi, group 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's find out what you might experience for the rest of the year. What might you be experiencing? What can you expect to happen for the rest of the year? It started raining towards the end of group number two's reading, and in your reading, it's like proper, like chucking it down. It's like so loud. I really hope you can hear me. But if you can hear the rain as well, I hope it's giving you some sort of like ASMR rain reading. um, but yeah, okay. So let's begin. Let's find out what you might experience during the rest of the year. What's rest of the year have in store for you? So we have Zora, we have Isa, right. It's making sense. We have Sowilo, okay, and we also have Gibu. What a beautiful note to end your reading on. Oh my god. Oh my god, group number 3. You have been my strong warriors. You've been on my toughest warrior list of God for this year, and it shows. Bottom deck energy is Logos. Okay, beautiful energy. And you've probably been struggling, you've been putting in the work, you've been patient, you have been waiting your turn for it to be good in your life, for things to be good in your life, and now it is finally your turn, group number 3. You're finally getting the harvest. You're finally getting the results of your hard work. You've been feeling stuck for a while. You've been feeling like, why am I not moving forward in my life, whether it's in life in general or like in a specific area of your life. But I do feel like the rest of this year is finally starting to show you, or fully showing you, results. It's bringing in some sort of gift, some sort of happiness, some sort of blessing in your life that you have been wanting for a very long time, that you are very well deserving of, group number 3. Okay, do not self sabotage. I felt like I have to say this to you because I feel like you guys are my group who, like, yes, you were patiently waiting for this thing to come into your life, or like, yes, you've been strong all this while, but you have been complaining, you have been crying in bed at night, you have been asking me why, or me when you see something good happening in other people's life. And it's almost like you didn't give up hope, or like you were hopeful, but then you were still like, I don't know though, am I just being delusional or am I being hopeful? And you're at the verge of losing hope. And no, absolutely not. And which is why I think when something good happens in your life, you're like second guessing it, you're doubting it, you're like, shh, am I worthy of this? Can something nice actually happen to me? Yes, it can, because you're deserving of it. Just because it isn't happening now, just because isn't happening when you wanted it to happen, doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. Okay, yeah. So what I can see here is, honestly, like, this is something that you want for sure, and you've been feeling stuck. But the thing with being stuck is that you have two options. Okay, and you had these two options. Your first option is to just stay stuck. Okay, and just be like, okay, let me just surrender. Okay, let's just take the example of what I see on this card itself, right? Say you're stuck in traffic. You have two options. You either say, okay, let's just conserve our energy, let's like turn off the engine, let's just sit in the car, and when the traffic moves, then we will move with it, we will eventually get home, no problem. That's option number one. Option number two is, okay, the minute we see like we can make a cut and take a u-turn and just like abandon this route and take another route, or if we can already, like, we see all of this traffic from a distance, so we just like three steps back, just like take a u-turn and like choose a different path, right? These are our two options when we're stuck in traffic. What we choose depends on what we want, basically, in the moment. And I feel like when you have been stuck in life, you also had these two options, and the option that you chose was to not abandon this route, because this is something that you have really wanted, this destination is something that you really wanted, this end result is something you really wanted. So you said, you know what, let me conserve my energy, let me go with the flow, let me sit in the traffic of my life, and when I get there, I'll eventually get there. Okay, it'll happen for me as well. Okay, so maybe the car right in the front got married at 25 when you thought you also want to get married, but it's not your turn right now. It's the turn of the people who turn 30, and then it's going to be your turn, maybe you who have just turned 35. So just because it hasn't happened right now, or it hasn't happened up until now, doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. Okay, and my phone rang, thankfully, like, it was on silent, so it didn't ring, but it vibrated the table, and it's about like a blood checkup. Is that relevant to some of you? Maybe, like, you've been taking medications for something, maybe you've been taking supplements for something, you've made a lifestyle change to cure something, and maybe it didn't happen immediately. But that's because it doesn't happen immediately. Medicines take time to work. Okay, it's the same way, like, how even with the harvest card, right? Say someone wants to grow something. Okay, you want to grow a tomato plant. The day you sow the seed is not the day you harvest the fruit. It takes time. It takes some sort of ebb and flow. First the seed is going to grow into a sapling. Maybe there are worms in the soil, so then you're going to have to tend to that and start again. Or maybe you're just going to have to wait for it to grow fully. Or maybe you're going to have to wait for the season in which um, tomatoes are planted or tomatoes are harvested, right? So say for example, yeah, just this example, just say you want tomatoes, but you want tomatoes um, on a random day. Maybe you want tomatoes in July, okay, I don't know. But maybe the best time to sow your tomato seeds are in January. So you're going to either have to wait for January to come, or you can plant it in July and be like, why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it here yet? It's January. Why isn't my tomato here yet? It's not gonna be here yet because it's gonna start growing only in January. Okay, and I don't know what is the best season to grow tomatoes. So please don't ask me. I don't have a green thumb, not with these nails. But I hope you get my point, right? I do feel like you will get the tomatoes that you want. It is a blessing that you've been wanting. I see that you have been putting in the work. I see that you have surrendered to a higher power. So you will get it. You will get it. You just have to wait a while. You just have to wait your turn. And now it is your turn. For the rest of the year, you can finally be like, okay, I've been waiting. Like, I am like, honestly, this is like the last straw. If it doesn't happen by this time, then I'm gonna give up. And that's exactly when it happens, is what I'm seeing for you guys. Okay, with the Sawilo, I also feel like this is something that's bringing a lot of happiness and joy and just like blissfulness in your life. This is like the sun has come out after a stormy, rainy day, you know. So yeah, the sun is going to come out. You are going to get the happiness and the blessing that you deserve. You just have to wait a while. And you're probably sick of hearing that because you've been doing the waiting. Yeah, you've done 12 years of it in Azkaban. I get it. I get it. But it will come. Just because you waited for 12 years and it didn't happen doesn't mean it won't happen in the 12th year, or doesn't mean it won't happen in the 13th year. Okay? I do feel like this is something that you are like, you've been wanting this thing and you're almost giving up hope, but it's like the day you decide that, I'm no longer waiting for this, is the day when this thing is going to come into your life, is what I can see. And it's almost like a funny joke from the universe, because they're like, oh, we just wanted to check how persistent you are, or oh, we just wanted to check how patient you are, or we just, knew that this blessing is going to bring long term happiness and contentment in your life, which is why we wanted you to feel like you've done enough character development to not to earn it, but to finally appreciate it and look after it and take care of it so that you don't self sabotage. Yeah. I picked up this energy because the universe is like, yes, these people, they self sabotage. They don't think that good things will happen to them. And when they do happen to them, first of all, they cry all the time about good things not happening to them. And when they do, they don't appreciate it. They're like, huh? They question it. They're like, how is this happening? How is this happening in our life? Yeah, maybe that's the kind of people that you are. And the universe wants you to know that, the universe, I say, but there's also like the idol of god here. So maybe Ganesha or Ganpati is a god that you pray to. Yeah, or he's significant in your life, and he is the god of like removing obstacles. So yeah, maybe he was just testing your character when you are being faced with an obstacle. Okay, because yeah, maybe he knows, or the universe knows, that you will be able to fully enjoy this blessing only if you've done that character development, only when you have become this like solid, stable person who doesn't give up hope, who persists, who is disciplined, who perseveres, who doesn't let a rainy day stop them. Yeah. They take breaks once in a while, which is good, which is healthy, which is normal, but it doesn't make them quit. Okay? So it's like one bad harvest is not going to make you give up on your dream or your passion of gardening. Okay, one traffic jam is not going to stop you from ever going out in the world, or ever sitting in a vehicle, or ever being okay with being stuck in traffic. Like, you're never going to say, oh my god, I hate being stuck in traffic, I'm just never going to leave my house. You're not going to say that. Okay. Yeah, because I feel like with Sovilo, a message that Sovilo has is that, like in context, sometimes it means that like something, like too much of something is also a bad thing. Like too much of freedom or happiness, or like nomadic living, or too much of a blessing is also a bad thing, right? So maybe the universe feels like if this blessing would have come into your life before this character development would have happened, it would have been a bad thing for you, because you would have thrown away something good. You wouldn't have been able to appreciate or maintain this thing, this good thing, for it to be a long term thing, because you didn't have the tools or the ability to be able to take care of it and handle it. But now you do. Now you are the mature person, now you are the responsible person who will be able to appreciate this blessing and treat it with the respect that it deserves, and which is why you will value it more, and you will also make sure that you continue to maintain it so that it can be a long lasting thing. Okay, so that is something that I'm picking up on for you guys, group number 3. This blessing is coming. It is coming before the end of the year. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, child. Heaven has a plan for you. Swedish House Mafia, one of the best EDM songs I've ever heard. Hear that song. Maybe there are messages in there for you. Um, but maybe your message is just this: don't you worry, child. Heaven's got a plan for you. Trust in heaven's plan for you. Okay? You are a loved child of the universe. You're a loved child of God. Why will a loving parent want to see their children hurting? Why will they want to see them suffering? Okay, there is some reason for it. Maybe it's tough love to make you resilient, to make you a strong person who's able to then grow up into a good individual who can take care of yourself. Yeah, who has good values. Yeah, the universe will never make you suffer or struggle for nothing. They don't derive pleasure from that. Okay. Yeah, so that is the reading that I have for you guys, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel for more readings from me, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.